Hey guys, so this is the day 18 of the 60 days series where we talk about the 5 layers of AI. And if you are seeing this for the first time, well, welcome. So we started this series about 18 days ago, and the main purpose of this is because a lot of people have been seeing the whole hype about AI since a couple of years now, and a lot of people are not sure on how to start and where to start from. So I broke this down into several layers, which I call the 5 layers of AI, and I explain every single layer in depth. What I basically do is I focus on the core aspect which you need to understand. Because one thing is that I noticed that there's a lot of hype online. Example is Claude killed this one did this, and even for me that has been a huge distraction, which I discovered if it's like this for me, it's probably the same for anyone else. So I decided to break down every single thing I know about AI, from prompt engineering to agentic layer. I'm going to explain every single thing in 60 days. We've done the first layer where I talk about prompt engineering and every single thing about it in 10 days. So for the past 7 days now, we've been on AI automation, where we take automation and we add the AI layer on top of it. Now, one thing you need to know is that each layer is very important. That was why we brought layer 1 on top of layer 2 to what? To work together to call it what? AI automation. So, well, for today, what we are building is basically, I call it the high quality moves in AI automation. So, let's get right into it. There's one thing you need to know. Every form on a website gets spam. If you don't know that before, you need to know now. Even mine did, and those of even Google and other big tech companies actually get spam from bots, from competitors, or probably accidental submissions. No, I mean, there were cases where I've seen people submit a form on my website where they call it test, and I'm like, okay. So right now, this is one of the things you need to put in place and add to the digital receptionist where you built. That was about 3 days ago now, and ensure that what, when you add this in place, you are sure that you don't have to waste any API token or operations right on make.com. And we can see that we have an update system. Now what this does, this is different from the previous lead intake system. This system originally is meant to take in details as they are coming from the Google Forms. It takes in these details and it sends them here to the lead intake document, the CRM, our CRM using spreadsheets or Google spreadsheets. So, but in this case, we want to have a scenario where, for example, someone says, I use the wrong number. I'm not meant to give that other number, I'm meant to give this number. So how does this person update this particular cell? How do they rather update their details? How they update their detail, we are using this particular scenario. Now what this scenario does, as we can see here, we can input, we currently have this detail here now. We currently have this Jude Olabubuye, then we have this number, and we have this. We have this rather. So now this person feels like they've inputted the wrong number and they want to change it. So if this person puts in the name and the new phone number now, which is this, let's use 8109015817, and with an email of this gmail.com. Now the request, let's use the same request. So in this case, I need a small handbag for my sister, right? Yes, I actually do. I need that right now. So yes, so I am using this. What do we do in this case? We are changing the number, right? So it's currently this, but we are changing it to this instead. So when I fill this in, this is what I need to happen. This is what I need to happen. I want this to just go straight directly, and we have a change. So we can reload this. Let's reload this and see we've made the changes. So it seems that it did not update. Let's see. So row number, format, this, output. Okay, we're running using, let's see, let's run once again. All right, so this time around, did I run with the new details? Okay. we did a new intake. All right, so there's an issue somewhere, and that is, let's run once again. All right, and choose where to start. So once again, let's do this, because I discovered that it's still not changing. So I just want to show the output, that's the results, before we make our changes on 34810015817. So we're using this as a unique identifier. I will show you what a unique identifier is. .com, and the request is, once again, I need to get a hand for my sister. All right, so once again, let's run this. All right, so we have phone number with an output. Okay, so let's check here. Here's the answer I gave in, yes, and it's searching for this, email equals to this, and it's giving me a new one. All right, so let's see once again. We see it has made the changes now. So what happened there, it was probably relying on existing data. Now, how do we make a system that actually works like this? We originally had this, right? So what we're going to do in this case now is, we're going to go back to our scenario, all our scenarios, and we're going to go back to that particular system, then we'd clone it. So what I used instead, this time around, let me use lead update intake system. And I want to keep this current state, the way the modules are, I want it to remain the same way. So we want to build this. Something that can update. If someone has made a mistake, we need to be able to update the details of this lead in a new into the CRM using the new details. So that's what we want to do. And we've been able to duplicate, and we want to use this same thing. So this time around, we are not going to use the add to row. We're not adding a new system into it. We want to update the current detail that is currently present here. So we remove this, we first unlink this. So we don't need this module. We unlink it, put it somewhere else. Let it keep playing here. So, and we need to add a module from Google Sheet as well. We need to add an update a row. We need to add this, because this time around we want to update and not just add a row. What happens here is, since we want to update a row, we also have to connect it to the same system, to the same CRM we have here. We want to connect it back there again. So we are looking for, that's lead intake system, as it is here, lead intake system. So we are on sheet 1, and you can once again check this is sheet 1. That's just what it means there. So, and the row number, okay, I can't find a row number, so I use a response ID instead. All right, so now I want to map in every single thing we've mapped initially as well. I want to map it in here. So I use these emails, I use this as well, and for the phone number I also use this as well, and for the requests I use this. I map the request as well inside. All right, so we have the value. Okay, double take that. So we can all right, so we can save this. And we have the update a row. So in this case, let's try to run. We don't have an existing data. So once again, I want to change the number back to my second number, right? So I'm going to submit a new response. Since I want to update the row, I'm going to submit this. I'm going to use this, and I'm going to change the number back to the previous number. So 49060827969, and I use the email to it. That means I'm adding my email. The only thing I want to change here is just the number. So, and I'm adding a request, which I had here originally before. So I'm submitting this. I have it submitted. I can now go back to what we built, and I can click run once. But we have an error here. It came in, right? The new phone number. Yes, it's correct, and it's my own name as well. So why do we have an error? We can see it's obviously here. It says validation failed for one parameter, invalid number in parameter row number. So when we hear the parameter, that means obviously we have the field there, this field called row number. That means we're not meant to use the response ID. So since it's been said here, row number, not response ID, that means we are wrong. How do we get the response ID? how do we ensure it updates that particular row that we just made changes on? So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to the modules on Google Sheets. We check back there and see what can help us get that row number. What if it searches the row first? It will look for the row, the one we're trying to make changes on, and is now going to update it. So that is what we're going to do in this case. But there are now two, search rows and search rows advanced. Now what this does is it returns results matching the given criteria. The second one as well returns results matching the given criteria rather, and this module does not return a row number. If they specify this, that means this should probably return a row number. So we had this instead. Let me delete this off. Alright, so I had this into my scenario. So what we are going to do here now, we need this to pass in a row number here for us. So that means we need to still first connect everything right from start again. We need to connect it lead intake system, which is obviously what we have here, and the sheet number, which is sheet 1. The table contains this, and we're now going to be seeing a filter. Now the main reason why I'm making this video is to show you how filters work. So we've been able to do the first connection, which just required us to connect, add a row, or watch responses to add a row, which just feeds in the data directly. But in this case now, we want to add a filter. And there are two cases where your filters come into place, which the first way you can add a filter from here, set up a filter. You can set up a filter and update the row directly. And you can also get some modules have inbuilt filters there, which is this. Like this search row, for example, it has inbuilt filter as well. Now in this case, we need it to search this row. We need it to search the existing rows we have and see if we have that particular details, if the person have input their details initially and they need to update it. If this person has not done that, if this person is probably a new person, it is not going to use this. It's going to pass in through the original one we created, which was for watch responses and add a row. It's meant to just do that directly rather than pass through this, because this person is a new person, is a new lead. But this time around we want to update it, so we need to pick out a unique identifier. Most of the time the unique identifier we use here is the email, because obviously there are cases where someone else can be called Jude, where we can have another detail with Jude, but no two persons can have the same so we need to use that email as a unique identifier. So we use the email as unique identifier here in the filter here. That is the unique identifier. I pick the filter. Filter is based on unique identifier email. Now I want the email that is going to search for, because it's going to search all through. We can assume, let's assume we have over 1,000 lead info here now. It's going to search through all the emails. Which one corresponds with that particular one of that person sending a new information in? This person is sending a new information, right? And his current phone number is this. So how do we recognize that same person, which is this unique identifier? He already exists, but he wants to make an update, right? So that means this person is Jude, and the unique identifier now is judeolaboye@gmail.com, and he has a request which says this, and he wants to make the changes from this number into changing it to this instead, 90 62 79 69. So this is what this person wants to use instead, right? So this person wants to change this. How do we have this submitted that it ensures that it changes that? That is where we now say, okay, so from the existing, what this module is doing now is it is searching the existing details here that we have. It is searching it, and it's searching it based on the filter that, okay, this person coming in with this unique identifier is putting in a separate phone number again. So I need to search it based on that email, the person's email. Does he already exist? From the existing emails I have already, does this person correspond with any of them? If it does, bring out the person here. So we pick the value of email here. So based on the existing details I have, one of their emails should be equal to this one coming in for me to be able to search the person, get the person, and update. So that means what? Based on existing ones again, it should be equal to the person coming in. It should be the same person coming in. Now what I'm saying here is that if this person add something like 1 here, which is obviously not the same as the email here, that means this person is not the same person. It's going to, instead, it's not going to pass through here. It's going to pass through here instead. For our initial lead intake system, it's going to pass through that one instead. But this time around, we want to ensure that what is the same email, right? So obviously I'm going to remove this and order by row number. Just, you can use this, and sending all this, you can just leave it. We can increase this to 10 at the same time, that it can return at the same time. So now we have this. This is the main thing. Once again, what I did here was based on it wants to make a search all through this sheet. We want to make a search. We have thousands of inputs, but only one person has their email. So we're using the email as unique identifier here and saying that for the email we have here, search through all these emails. If anyone already exists that is equal to the new detail this person is passing in, that person already exists. So I want you to pick the person out. That is what this is doing. So we save this. So it is saved. And let me remove this first. Let's unlink this first and run this. Let's save and run this. So we run this based on the one we ran the other time. So we run it and we see that it successfully went through, and we have our output. The inputs here, order by row number, right? So we have our output with row number 3. That means this person already exists. It has recognized that this person exists. If this person did not exist, for example, now let's make our changes and use 1 here and submit. We will notice that in this case now, how many times have we run? We've only run the same details. Okay. So now we're going to run once again, and we see what is going to say here. Okay, so I need us to run a new one now. Okay, so it keeps acting this way. It keeps acting up this way. Okay, it keeps bringing in the same thing over and over again. All right. Okay, I think that has worked. That's probably worked. Okay, so it's based on the existing run we had. Let us go over this again. Let's run once. Okay, and let's see. All right, so this is based on the last 3, right? So we're running based on this then. Okay, so we can see, let's use this then. So total number. Okay, so what happened here now is that it searched for it, but it's not getting that particular one. That is why it's bringing total number of bundles 0. So it searched for it and it could not get it. Let me make changes once again. So I'm going to show you everything right from the beginning. So Jude, we're adding a phone number of this, right? 90 80 69, and we're having a different email. Let me use the email like this. Let me change it over, and a request that says this. So I submit this. Let's run it again. So we're running this, and we see that we had this input. I should have used this to check in. We had this input with email that says Olabuyi Jude instead. And you can see that while that one came in, we have nothing here. That means what? We are not adding it. We are trying to update, right? But you can see that while that one submitted, this new email is different from, we don't have anything existing on this. We don't have anything called Olabuyi Jude. We have only Jude Olabuyi, right? So that is why we can see that while this one came in the first place, nothing came here. Total numbers of bundles 0. What this means is that it could not find anyone that has an email like this. So it got the input, it got every single thing, and what, based on the filter of this email here, nothing like that exists. So that was why it was able to what, get in 0 here. But this time around now, while that one worked, this time around, let us now make a new one based on this now. Let us use the same thing we're trying to change it to, right? 060827969. Alright, so we're going to use judolabubuye@gmail.com, which exists currently, right? So that's what we're using, and we're going to make the request, same thing, and submit this. So that means this time around, we'll run this. It's also going to take, it's not showing error because it's making its filter, it is correct. So this time around, you see that we got an input and we got this. We got this in. It is correct. That means it's showing a bundle 1, and it's showing bundle order position 1. Numbers, total numbers of bundle, this is 1. It's showing this because it exists. So the output is not showing 0, unlike the previous time that was showing 0. So that means it exists. So this time around, we can now connect this. Since we have what? We have a row number. If you remember, initially what we're looking for here was a row number. We had no row number to update it with, but now we have a row number to update it with. So let's save this first. And let's pass this into it. Okay, so let's run based on the first one we ran. Okay, so we have no row number, happy. Alright, and it's not showing us the previous. So let's map this in first. Okay, so we save this and run once again. Okay, let's run based on the details we have here. So you see that this went through. That means it was not able to get anything, and this is based on which details? This is based on Olabubuye Jude, right? So it was not able to see anything here. And this is also showing error too, because I've still not added the parameter. So let us see if I can add the parameter now. Row number, it exists now. So I can add parameter row number to it, so it can update that particular point of the phone number in the CRM. That's why this one exists. So I ran it based on this, right? So let me see if we can run it based on what is actually correct now. You can see it went through. It all went through. How? Because we have this, it's existing. And what? It went through here as well. You can see it updated it. So we have a row number now. So the main reason why we were using these search rows is to get the row number and to filter it based on if it already exists. If it did not exist, it will not update this. So we can see this is updated now. Based on the details we filled in, you can see it has changed back to 60, 82, 79, 69. Now let's use, since we've been able to do it correctly now, let's use a situation where we use the wrong email. Okay, so phone number, I'm going to change it back once again into my previous number. So I'm going to change it back to this 8109015 Alright, so Jude. Alright, and I'm going to use this same thing. So I'm using this. So now we see what will happen here. You can see operation failed, an error, missing row number. So you could not get the row number. What happened here is not an error of the system itself. It's an error based on the fact that no row number came in. That means it could not find anything that exists here that it could use to update. That was why. But this time around now, let's make our changes again. You can see here, that means this is the correct one now. As you can see, this is the one I have here. This is the one I have here. So I'm using this again. I should remove this to @ Alright, so I'm using a different phone number entirely now. Let me use for, that's 80 68 49 36 91. Let me use a different number, and let me use still this and the same request again. So I'm using the same identifier, right? And let's see what happened. Yes, so we can see that this is going in correctly. That's an issue that we can always solve. We can always restart it. So you can see this is why this is working now. So now to continue, you can see that we've been able to successfully do this. So the difference between this is just the fact that we need to be able to search for the row using this search rows. We use the search rows module of Google Sheets. Then we add a filter that based on, I want you to search through all the emails here as a unique identifier, And if you see the same email in an input again, know that that person have inputted a detail before and just needs to what? This person just needs to update some details. So he's now going to match it with the email coming in from the person again. Okay, this email, judeolaboy@gmail.com, does this person exist in our database already? Yes, the person exists. All right. So because this person exists, I'm going to take it yes and go through into the next one. I'm going to provide the row number this person exists, so I can add it here, and the person is going to fill in all the values will come in. Even though the name is the same, it will still fill the same name. It's the same email, obviously, but this time around, let us say the name is probably what the person changed, or the phone number is what the person changed, or is the request ID. That is what is going to update it based on. So if this person doesn't exist, if I check through this particular module checks through all the emails in the database or in the CRM or in the sheets, and this person doesn't exist, it's not equal, that means this person doesn't exist there. Based on the text operator, you need to understand what exactly you are doing, what exactly you are looking for. So in this case, I want any email that I'm passing from ear to ear, I want to see if it's equal to it. If it's exactly equal to it, that means this person exists. Now, if we also run it and it's not, it can't find it, you can't find any email that already exists that is equal to the current email, it's also what? It also ticks, that means it has done the job, it has looked for a person, but this time around it's going to bring out an output of bundle 0. Total number of bundles will be 0. All this will not even exist. It will not show all this. So it will not show all this. That means this person is a new person and is supposed to go to a different scenario instead. So that's just what happens in this case, and that is how filters work. That is how filters work. Alright, so the next thing I'm now going to explain, while I've explained about the filtering system which is inbuilt, when you see anything related to search, this works not just in Google Sheet, it works for several other platforms as well, which means on several other platforms you might have to update CRMs, and we can try to test a particular platform that we'll soon be very familiar with, that's Notion. And you can see that we have something called updates, we have something called search object. So obviously you can try to imagine a scenario as well where we have details also here which we want to update them. Let me see if we have something similar here as well. You can see search contacts. So there are several, these are CRMs basically, and these are situations that might warrant us to updating a particular detail, a particular contact detail, or just details in the CRM. So there are many situations where this come into place. It can come into place when we have leads coming in and they want to input their details once again, a correct one this time around. And we can also have this come in just several other details aside from leads. Can be in an attendance, can just come up in situations. But since this is more of a business related one, so we'll use leads for this. So you can see we have this come up in several cases. So now the next one I'm now going to explain to you, and what I want to talk about now is about routers. I want to talk about routers, and when we talk about router, that is, we are given this particular scenario an opportunity to split into two different directions. So what is happening here is that we are having these details in, and is able to search rows, and once it search for the row, it's going to update. If it exists, it is going to update, right? But this time around, we want to make sure that in this same scenario, we don't want to have two different scenarios, which one will be for add and that will be for updates. We don't want that. We want them in one scenario. So we want to give this the automation ability to search for these rows, see if it exists. If it exists, then we are going to update it. If the person have input their details before, we're going to update the person's detail. And if it doesn't exist, we want to leave a scenario where we can add. That means the person is coming for the first time, so that means we should be able to add the person's detail to the CRM. So in this spreadsheet, this is our CRM right now. We want to ensure that if anyone that doesn't have their email here comes in, or in this same scenario, we want to have the person get added instead of just updates. In this case, since the person is new, the person just needs to be added as the next one in line. So, and we can't do that with this current scenario. So we want to have two options, and that is saying, okay, if this person has been here before, just give me an update on the person's request. Maybe there's a change in request. But if this person have not been here before, that means this person is a new customer. Add the person to the list of customers that sent a request. So here's what I mean now. We are getting our details through Google Forms. We have to search if the person exists already. Then we want to make sure we have two different options, which means the person either already exists and should be added to the row, or if the person doesn't exist, we want to add a new row, which means we want to add the person to the list since the person doesn't exist yet. So we do something where we do like this. We're going to take this and connect it to this, and it pops up what we call a router. Now, what does a router do? A router gives you the capability to do two different things. So now in this case, we can also make use of a filter. What happens here is this person inputs their detail. This searches if the person is currently in the CRM with the unique identifier of an email, since each person can only have one email, and two people can never have the same email. So if it searches it and this person exists in our CRM, that's in our Google Sheet, is going to update it. That means it's going to literally update the person. Maybe the person changed anything, or it can even be the same thing. It's still going to update it. Now, if this person doesn't exist, meaning this person, as it searches for it, this person doesn't exist on Google Sheets, is going to add to the role instead. Now, how do we make use of it? We make use of it using the router. Now, what happens in this case is we now set a filter here. We have to set a filter here. Now, the filter we set will be based on the condition that this person, this is how to set a filter. You can click on this and you'll be able to give a label. I can give a label anything. The person exists. That means the person currently exists and is just putting, probably making changes on details. We can save it for now. And this one is the person doesn't exist. So this is a new input. That means this person is new. So we can save this for now as well. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to ensure let's fill in these details. We'll publish this once again, and we can copy this. We can copy this and paste, so we can fill in these details. So let's put Jude, and let's do this. 2, 3, 4. Let's just use the normal details we've used in the first place, or we can leave it normally on this, so it will not be any different. We just want to use this for now, so we're going to use this. So we have the next one, which is Jude email. So this person exists. This person actually exists. And what was the thing I said? So I said I need a small handbag for my sister. All right, so I'm going to submit this. So it's going to currently appear here. So what I'm going to do is, for now, I'm going to unlink the modules because I want it to enter here first, because nothing entered here yet. Choose where to start. Sorry, I need to now on. Right. Okay, so we just ran the scenario now, and the details I passed in just now, yes. So it searched it and it was able to bring it out. It exists, right? It was able to get that it exists. So I'm going to connect this back to it. Now I've connected it back to it. Since this person exists, probably has something he wants to change in the details he has inputted before. So I'm going to get here. The condition is if row number exists. If row number exists, that means this person exists, right? Then I'm going to pass it through here. Then the filter is going to work. If this row number, we can actually use anything. We can use anything. We can use bundles. If total number of bundles equals to, if it equals to 1, next operator equals to 1, we can use a numeric operator rather equals to 1. That's the number is a numeric operator equals to 1. So it shows bundle of 1. Then it means can save. So I mean it can work in this. It's just based on it's plain English, it's plain grammar. Okay, the bundle I choose here is 1 because it exists. Obviously it's 1. If it doesn't exist, it's going to show as 0 or it's not going to show anything. And I can also use this row number if it exists. I can also use that too. So whichever one is comfortable for me to use, I can use it. So in this case, I'm using total number of bundles. I'm saving this. So, and in this case, I'm going to use total number of bundle, and I'm going to use numeric operator equals to, or I can even use exist, just something like that. Total number of bundle exists. So, or row number exists, whichever one, because if when you think about it, the row number is bringing out 3. That means it currently exists inside the CRM. So the total number of bundle as well, I also explained, is 1. So which means that yes, something came in that looks familiar with what this person has been here before. But if it did not exist, if this person is just coming for the first time, it's not going to show anything in search. So you can just use this. Does it exist? Row number. Since this person does not exist. Does not exist. So we're going to run this again. So let's have this in and run once. So you can see this one ticked. So what you see here is that this one brought out a tick, and it also brought out a tick here, which means this person exists, and it's true because what? I already exist here. This is my email. That is why that is working. But this, you can see, is on 0 and nothing came up because it did not pass the filter. That means the person exists, but I said if row number does not exist is when it should come true. But it does. So now I'm now going to do the reverse, which means I'm going to put in a new person entirely, a new detail based on, that means the unique identifier will have to be a new email. I'm going to use that now and we'll see what happens. So this time around, let us copy this and paste this again, and let's use the same Jude because I want to explain something. So even if it's the same name and is the same name, so far the unique identifier is different. That is a new person entirely. Because anybody can be Jude. Anybody can have a number that is similar to my phone number, or probably make a mistake of my phone number, right? So, but the same person can never have the same email. Probably the same thing also for phone numbers. But in this case, we're using the unique identifier to be an email. So let's use this. Let me just number I can think of. So I have to count the number. So now this is a different email entirely. I'm going to use now Olaboboy. Okay, you know what? Let me just use this. xjude@gmail.com. So I'm using this instead, and I'm going to say I need a sandal or something. I need a sandal instead. Remember, this is a new person. Why? Even though it's the same name as Jude, but this person with a different email address means this is a different person. So I'm going to submit this, and I'm going to go back and run it. And this time around, we will see this is going to tick and this will not tick. And this is not going to appear while this will appear, because this person is a different person entirely. So we're adding this person to adding a row. Let's check it currently. We don't currently have this new Navana X Jude person. So we don't have that person. So but we're going to see what's up now. I'm going to run this, and you can see what I said came true. We have a tick and we have a tick here, but nothing passed through here because the filter says, does this person exist? No, this person doesn't exist. Let me show you how to know that number. The number I used here, 1, and the number I used here, which I did not use any number here. I'm going to show you how I got that in the first place. So when you look at this, when we were searching for the rows, it's going to give us something. Total numbers of bundles, 0. You can see what's up now. So total number of is 0 here. And this one I said the filter must be, the total number of bundle must be 1. Can use this filter. That's the thing about filters. Filters can be many things. So far it sounds like, okay, this is correct to you, then yes, that is how it's meant to work. This is the best way I can explain this. However, after I'm done, I will explain how all these filters work, because the filter is the main reason why we're explaining filters and routers. So you can see all this. I'm going to just explain the scenarios where each feature might come in. We can use this, and I can also decide to say total number of bundle, okay, equals 1, right? This one, total number of bundle, I can say total number of bundle equals 0, equals to 0. It will still work. Now let's just try it out now. This was a recent run I did just a minute ago. I'm going to do it again, and you see the same thing will happen. Okay, so we had something here. Let me see which one did I run. I think I ran the wrong one. I ran the okay. So what happened here now is we can see Nirvana X Jude already exists because we already add it inside. We already had it added here initially. Remember, it's added here, and what now the person exists. So when we're running it again, it's going to enter person exists. So now this time around, let me do it where I'm going to use another email entirely again, so you get to understand how this works. Let me just use any email, and this gmail.com. Now you know this person doesn't exist. Now let's still use the same Jude, so you get to understand that this is still our unique identifier. It doesn't mean if this person is Jude or this person is Tunde, and with the number is right. So we have our request. I want. Now this is a new person, so obviously what will happen here is this person doesn't exist, so this person will come here instead. So we have this new person come here instead. So this is how filters work. So everything I've been doing all this while is working based on a router that is just it. You can have it send details to two different places. Now when you have it send details to two different places, you need to ensure you tell it, this is the reason why I want you to send details here. This is also the reason why I want you to send details here. Which are the conditions you have here? You send the details here if the person already exists. Now let's go back and do it to make sure the person already exists. Now this was the random email I just used. So I'm going to use another person's name, but with this Gmail, and you see the person already exists because there's only one email, right? It's only one person, one email is that. I mean, that's the unique identifier basically. So I'm going to use this for a new lead again. So here's what I'm going to do. For a new lead, let's submit another response. I just keep going over all this to ensure you know how this works very well. Right, so let's say this person is going to be Raphael, and I need a cup. Alright, so this is still the same email, so that means this person exists, right? So we're going to run it and see that this person actually exists. Yes. So that was the filter I used here. Now I'm going to explain how the filters work in respective to this particular project. Now the way this works is, this is just a label. You can say this person is here. This is just a label for me to know what I meant here. This person is here. Or I can just change it back to my person exists, since that looks nice. Sounds nice rather. So now remember, total number of bundles. All the details we got that we used to do the filters are based on what we originally have here from the search rows. The search row says, because the detail we added recently, the person exists, right? The person exists. So that means what? If anybody exists, it's going to show us total number of bundles 1. That means one bundle, that means one person came in as the person exists. You will see what happens when I decide to say if it is like 2 bundles. If it's 2 bundles, I need to change the operator here that I'm using here, because it's not 1 again, it means 2, 3. That means this person, we have probably done something that we manually input the person's email multiple times. So that one will give us a different case. That one can give us something like greater than or equals to 1. That means anyone coming from 1, 2, 3, 4 like that, it will work. Now this is the case. Once again, I'm going to come here, search rows. What this module is doing, this module is looking through this this CRM, this spreadsheet, and it's looking at it and it's like, okay, I'm going to search through this email, which is the unique identifier Jude added here. I want to search through this email and see if this email is a unique identifier I used there. Is the value coming from this person in this new form, is it equals to what originally exists in what I'm searching through? If this value, which is coming from this form, does it equal to any one that is being found inside this particular row, inside the particular column? So when it does that, I now do this other number. You can do it by row number, you can do the other number by name or anything, but by row number fits in, since I need row number in this case. So the string, you can leave all these things. Honestly, you can leave all these things. And the limit, you know how limits works. That means how many data can it process at the same time. So we can decide to process like 5 different people coming in at the same time. So we can do it as far as 10 or 100 or something. So now with all these things, so now we ran something and we were able to get, because this person already exists, so it's going to show in a 1 here. Undo order position, it's to show a 1 as well. So it's going to show a 1. It's going to show a 1 here as well. But where I'm using the bundle, I think I'm using the bundle order position, total numbers of bundles, since it's basically the same thing. So I can use that. So, but if the person was a new input, if it was this, the person will have shown as 0. Let me see if I can bring back one I used. Okay, everything already exists. So let me just take a new one again. This person should probably not exist. So let me just take one, randomgmail.com and random number. Okay, so I'm going to use so, and I'm also going to say I need a drink, something like that. So we have this in, this person is coming for the first time, since the email is different from what we have here already. So when I submit this, you see this will happen as it does not exist, and we will see that this is going to bring in a 0 this time around. So let's run it again. Does not exist. It went in. We have a new person, which is this Uzo, and we can now see that this brought in a 0. So this is the main thing we're using as a filter. The output, we're using it as a filter, like, okay, that person did not exist initially, so it's 0. So that means if I want to set the filter, that was why I set the filter total number of bundles here 0 equals to 0, and I set the total numbers of bundles here to be equals to 1. This is a numeric operator where I can use 1, I can use 2, I can use 3, I can use 4, 5, like this. I can use numbers for this. I actually use numbers for this. That is how this filtering work for this particular numeric operator. So you can imagine how other numeric operators work, not equal to. This is basically the reverse. If I do the reverse for this, then it will work in reverse instead. So greater than, less than, you can try to imagine how much more this can do. Now basic operator, this is what people mostly use most of the time. Exist or does not exist. Now in this case, I can say, does this person exist? That means, does this row number, total numbers of bundles will not work in this case. I'm not trying to use numbers. Now, I'm trying to know if that person exists. So does a row number like that exist? If I'm searching here for whichever output is here, after it has searched the row, I want to know if that person exists there or not. Not using numbers now, not using the total number of bundle. I just want to know if the person exists or not. So it's the same thing. This will work. Total number of bundles here is 1, right? I can say the row number, a row number that has been searched exists. A row number that has the same email that this person is imputing, not new person, that this person is imputing exists. So that means row number exists. I don't even need to cancel it. I can just say exist. That means that thing exists. We actually saw 1 inside. So you save this. And we can also decide to say, okay, row number does not exist. That means row number does not exist. If we do it this case, it still works the same way. Because the logic behind it is being able to think, okay, this person exists, so that is why. There's a row number. If I click on anyone now, let me use one as example. This is going to be my final example. We have Raphael as row number 5. Raphael is row number 5, right? That we're using this email now. Raphael is row number 5. So I'm going to ensure what I do now will be about Raphael. I'm changing the number. I'm using the same Raphael, right? So this person exists because of the email is there. I'm just putting anything here now at this point. So what I want to get here is, does Raphael exist or not? We'll be able to see his row number, and that's the row number that we used to know if it exists or not. So let's put in yes, submit. So now we are going to run this, and we see that Raphael says this person exists, obviously. Now let's check the row number. You see it's number 5 here. So see the row number here is number 5. That means the person exists, right? And that was why it's already saw that row number exists. That means the row number is starting from maybe 1 and above. It exists. There's someone there. But this one, it did not come true because what? The row number does not exist. So that is how filtering works, and that's how router works, just to break things down for you to have options to send data into. So that is basically it for this. You should have access to this so you're able to work more. I'm going to add you, sir, to this. I'm going to add you here. So you also have access to being able to use this. You'll be able to edit, you'll be able to do anything, or you can just be filling in the detail by yourself from here. So I'm going to attach the link as well. I'm going to attach the link so you might not even need this. I'll just attach the link to this form, so you'll be able to fill this form and test run it multiple times by yourself. And I should probably add you also to this. I should add you to this as well, so you also have access to always see the spreadsheet while you are trying it out. So we have from 5 to 6 now. You can continue to try this thing on your own. So I hope you understand it. If you don't, please, sir, you can reach out to me, and I will be able to explain, and I'll be able to basically explain more. And in our next class, I might have to go through it in front of you. I'll go through all the different filtering and everything. I'll go through all this. I have not even used this before. I've not used this before. Okay, I've used this, Boolean, true or false. So I'll just explain all this, but in the mainly what we use is basic operator, text operator, and numeric operators. We don't really use the rest. So except for this when I needed to do something unique. So all right, looking forward to our next class.